Oh, I'm so sorry, my mouth is full. How are you? I'm Chris with the full mouth, munching about. It's lovely to see you. I'm always blown away. I have such happiness when I see you because I don't know. I don't know if it's your vibe. I think it's your complexion. It's beautiful, like the outside of a spoon or something, you know, just, you know, wonderful. Anyway, I've noticed recently that I'm not on the ball with all the latest trends and stuff like this, and I don't really know what's going on. But I've noticed that I think recently it's like some sort of mental health week or mental health day or something like that, and because I don't know I don't follow these things, right? But I've noticed a lot of people posting a lot of beautiful things, a lot of wonderful things, a lot of just reposting stuff, but also a lot of people just writing genuine messages that are quite lovely and lovely to see. It's you know, gives you that faith in humanity sort of feeling, you know. Anyway, so I think this is great. I think it's great that it can be talked about and it's a conversation and all this sort of stuff, right? And I'm glad that it's becoming at the front of people's minds. But I think that it's half of a answer. It's not even half of an answer. It's probably like a third of an answer, a quarter of an answer, to be honest. Not less than a quarter. But see, the real solution to me is there's an old saying, actions speak louder than words, right? And so I believe that, you know, anyone who knows my history knows I've been through some bits and pieces in my life, right? Some things have happened to me. A lot of great stuff and a lot of not so great stuff that's taken years to sort out mentally, right? I've got physical scars from this, that, and the other, you know, and mental ones. But, you know, I've also witnessed other people going through stuff. I witnessed other people with big wounds, large amounts of pain. I can see it in their eyes. I can feel it off them when I'm not even looking at them, right? I can just sense this pain. And I can sense when they're suppressing it. Maybe they're only suppressing it for me, or who knows, whatever. But they're suppressing it, I can feel it, and I know it, and I've experienced the effects of someone else being severely mentally ill before, as a lot of you know. And so, one of the biggest low points in my life was a kick in the pants. And it started me taking seriously, is that a good sentence structure? I started taking quite seriously the idea that I should be working on myself, doing what I can to become the best version of myself. And so what I would do is I'd find a lot of stuff started off on YouTube content. I'd just be watching it. And then I'd start just listening. I'd put the YouTube on and I'd put it in my pocket. And I'd learn some cool stuff, right? Learn some techniques, learn some concepts, learn some exercises, all this sort of stuff, right? From there, I started to test, because I don't believe that it's... I really despise people who have all the information, they know all this stuff, but they've never actually done any of it. Like, my other passion in life is, other than self-development and psychology and things like this, is speaker stuff, right? And in the speaker world, let me tell you, just like the car world, there's a lot of people out there who will tell you how things are, right? What will work and won't work. Even if you've done it and it works, they'll tell you it won't work. And you'll be like, what are you talking about? You know? It drives me mad. And so I want to test things out and give them a crack. And then I know firsthand whether or not something will work well or not. Or why it could work, or why it doesn't work, or why it didn't work for me, or whatever, right? And it starts off with just testing things out. And then if I think it's really, really, really cool, what I'll do is I'll seek out someone who is a professional at that particular style of whatever, you know, that particular type of therapy. And then I'll watch them and I'll learn from them and I'll get them to perform it on myself, because I've got trauma, I've got issues, I got this, I got that, and I want it resolved anyway. So why not go to a professional and sort it out? And why not just study them while it's all happening, right? That's kind of cool. So I do this and I pay my money, I pay for courses, I pay for this, I pay for that, just to learn a little bit more. If I think it's extra awesome, maybe I'll even pay the fees for someone else to do it, so that I can study my friend or whatever and see what they get out of it, right? See what they get out of the experience. Now, and then from there, I become, that makes me a bit more of an authority than just someone who's watched a couple of YouTube videos, right, and listened to a couple of audio books and stuff like that, right? Because I test it. I test and I test and I test. In fact, every time, trust me when I say, every time we catch up, I'm probably testing something out on you. It's harmless, but, you know. And so this leads me on to this really cool idea of there are three things where this benefits other people. First of all, because I'm healing myself, right? I'm going to these courses, I'm watching these videos, I'm reading these audiobooks, and I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I'm testing on myself and on those around me and all this sort of stuff, right? And I will test to see if it works or not, to see if I get healed, if I'm healed from that or if I'm not healed from that, right? We get to see. The next step is, so now that I'm healed, I am now more powerful. I have more energy, mentally and physically. Especially I have more physical energy because now I care about myself enough to take care of my own body, right? As opposed to when I feel low and depressed, I don't take care of my body. On top of that, I'll push myself. I'll push myself to my limits. But because I have that mental clarity, I have the ability to be aware of my own body, and I can tell that I'm pushing myself too hard, right? And because my body, my mind, my soul, everything is going to tell me, you need to calm, you need to take it easy, bro. I'm about to split into two because you're trying to expect too much from me and I'm gonna break, mate. So chill or I'm gonna be broken, right? And I can listen into that and I go, all right. because I'm pushing myself, I'm growing faster. I'm growing at this speed that I wouldn't grow at if I didn't take care of myself, my mind, my body, and all this sort of stuff, and didn't have the awareness of my mind and my body and all that sort of stuff, right? Interesting. On top of that, I'm now armed with more technical knowledge that if someone comes to me and says, look, I'm going through this thing, not only do I now have the technical information that I can share, but I also have the awareness to know if they're ready for it or not, if they want to hear it or not, if they're going to take it on board, and what maybe the correct thing for them to do is too advanced for them, and they need to be 2 steps back from there, right? And you need to start them off on something basic, something really simple and basic, and work them up from there. I have that awareness because in the past I used to be like, yep, I know exactly what's going on, blah, 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 and I would just preach to them, and I would just barrage them with information and overwhelm them, and then they would be like, by the end of it, they would be annoyed at me because at the end of the day, I was just trying to help them, but I was very preachy about it, right? Right, interesting, right? Interesting. And now I've developed a level of understanding where I can be like, okay, don't do that. Be cool, right? Actually try to help them rather than to stroke your own ego about how much knowledge you know and all this stuff, right? Because that's BS. That's not love. That's stroking your own ego, right? So I have this data that I can give to people when I see it is appropriate to give it. And then the third one is the most powerful but most subtle of reasons why it's so beneficial, so helpful, so healing to be working on yourself and to be learning these things and to all these sorts of things, right? The brain has these things. There's this concept called mirror neurons. Mirror neurons are basically the idea that that when you're near someone, they will rub off on you. Not like that. They'll rub off on you emotionally, intellectually, physically, whatever. There will be aspects of this human, parameters that will slightly rub off on you. For example, like a classic example, if you're around depressed people, your mood lowers, right? You're around super happy, positive people and you vibe with that, then your mood's going to elevate, right? If you're around people that want to get healthy, well, that might inspire you to try a few things out at the gym or whatever, right? You hang around with a lot of computer geeks for long enough, well, guess what? You're going to be into games, you're going to be into upgrading stuff and all that sort of thing, right? It's just going to rub off on you. Well, what happens... Just getting a phone. I got a phone call, now I've lost my train of thought. Anyway, we have these mirror neurons, right? And you rub off on people around you. So think about this. Imagine that your mind is now working stronger. You have more energy. You know what's going on because you've been studying this stuff for so damn long, right? That you know what's going on around you. And you know how to solve, you know how to problem solve, you know this, you know that. How do you think that's going to affect the people around you? Right? Even if it's 1%, it's going to rub off on these people around you. And then, guess what? It works both ways. So you're building the vibe for other people, then they're feeling great, then that feeds back onto you, and then that's like a feedback loop, you know. And that's when that's why you have, you know, sometimes you'll be just vibing with someone and you'll have this great conversation because you're both on the same level, and it's feeding back. The excitement of the conversation is just going back and forwards because of these mirror neurons, right? And then suddenly you're talking about things, and then they go, wow, I just realized why X, Y, and Z used to treat me like that. And you'll be like, you've just changed their life, you know. And I'll learn. And here's the thing, I don't believe that unless, like, I believe that studying like formal psychology should be left for formal psychologists. I don't believe it's helpful for the average person to study formal psychology just for lols, just for fun, because the reality is that formal psychology is such a complex machine. There's so many elements to it that for the average person, if they don't learn the entire thing and they only learn half of it, then they're going to cause more damage than they can help. But there's probably situations where they're going to help people, but the reality is they're probably going to cause more damage than good, right? And that's because it's too complex a mechanism. It's like if you're trying to fix a car, and you know how the engine rever works, for example, and it's revving too low, and then you just adjust the engine rever to be revving a bit harder. Well, that will technically fix your problem. Like, the engine won't stall and die and all that sort of thing. But the problem is that maybe there was something causing it that's a lot deeper than just this surface level engine not revving hard enough when it's idling and just sitting there, right? And like, I'd recommend you start learning a lot of other stuff. Learning from books, learning about motivation, learning about even stuff like NLP and hypnosis and all these sort of fun things. These are the sort of things that you can learn from, and that you can test out from day to day just with your daily interactions. I'm always testing out things that I've learned. Always testing out things that I've learned, right? Because I can. Because I can. And I'll test out little subtle things, and sometimes it's not even personal development. Maybe it's just learning how to read people, because I never knew how to read people. They don't teach you this stuff at school, and the way school is being developed, it's actually suppressing these learnings more and more and more and more because of the way technology is being implemented and all these sort of things. And I don't think technology is a bad thing. It's just these are side effects of for example, when you're bored, your default head location is down, and there are so many psychological things attached to having your head down instead of looking at people and making eye contact and stuff like that. That develops the not develops the brain. It develops certain parts of the brain more than others, and they're generally not useful. Anyway, that's whatever, right? That's for another video. Let me know if you'd like to hear about that sort of stuff. But anyway, so you're I believe that if you really want to help people, start studying these things. I've got a massive list of everything from audiobooks to YouTube videos to hardcover books to this, to that I can pretty much guarantee that after a certain amount of time, whatever you're going through in life, it'll start to make sense. It'll start to solve itself, blah, blah, blah. and you'll start to understand what's going on. You'll start to learn how things work in the world. You'll be testing all these cool little tricks that you're learning, and psychological blah blah blahs, you know, all from just listening and reading and these sort of things. And I can pretty much guarantee that within a couple of months, might probably take about 6 months to really hit home, but I reckon after 3 months, if you were dedicated 5 days a week to watch one video or listen to one audio book, like determined to finish one audio book and then start on the next and then start on the next, or I've got courses that I can sneak you the password to that can be really helpful as well. All this sort of stuff. Within a couple of months, you'll start noticing little differences, and within 6 months, you'll be probably a new person. I believe that direction is more important, because, as I said in the beginning of the video, actions speak louder than words. And your actions, by looking up videos and learning things and actually embodying them by testing them out on a regular basis, right? These things will actually help you in the long term, in the large, bigger picture. And more importantly, they'll help the people around you as well. Now, they'll help you more than sharing a video, sharing a post or writing a post. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that sharing posts are not powerful in themselves. In fact, they're always going to be significantly more powerful than doing nothing at all. But I believe in pushing yourself, in trying to take things to the next level. I do this stuff because I love people. I really genuinely care about people, and I want to learn about stuff myself, so that every time I hang out with people, I make them smile and make them think. And I see that in every single interaction, which lasts longer than 5-10 minutes. I always see that in people. Always. And it's not because I'm smart. It's not because I'm whatever. I don't even think I'm that attractive, but I can get people moving in a direction that I think is healthiest. And I do that because of the things I've learned. And I believe that this is the key to changing mental health, one person at a time. If people really knew the impact that they have in the world, then they wouldn't be wasting their time, you know? Anyway, I meant to be going to a completely different job. I got that phone call from before was about how my job got cancelled, and now I have to go somewhere else. Anyway, it looks like I'm going to Oakley. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching my little video, and you keep that beautiful spoon complexion. If you've got any questions about any of the resources that I really desperately want to share with you guys, then you just let me know, because I learn these things so that I can share them. But I don't have a lot of people to share it with, because a lot of people don't care about their own mental health as much as I do. I care about your mental health, and I care about my mental health. I can't help people if I'm not at my peak. So anyway, get in touch. I love you all. Have a great day.